Bonjour et bienvenue à Français à FCC. Hello and welcome to French at FCC. I'm Professor Hannah and I'll be leading you through what I hope will be an enjoyable introduction to French language and culture. Each week you'll find videos like this one in this same space which will guide you as to what to work on for the week's assignments. Always be sure to watch each video and follow all the instructions on this page. And don't forget to scroll all the way to the bottom of the page to make sure you've seen everything. So, on y va! Let's get started. In this session, we'll learn how to introduce ourselves to other people and about some of the interesting features of French that make it different than English, things that are very important when speaking to other people, especially for the first time. First, watch the following video and listen carefully to the dialogue.
Bonjour.
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 Je m'appelle Jacques. Et toi?
Moi, je m'appelle Michel.
Tu es française?
Non, je suis australienne.
Ah bon? L'Australie? C'est formidable! Et toi? Tu t'appelles comment?
Je m'appelle David.
Tu es australien, toi aussi?
Mais non, je suis néo-zélandais.
Oh, pardon.
Je suis ici en vacances.
Moi aussi.
Bienvenue chez nous!
Now let's practice together. Using the dialogue here on the screen between Jacques and Michel, I'll introduce myself to you and you do the same. Bonjour, je m'appelle Daniel. Et toi? You should have answered, Moi, je m'appelle, and then given your name. Pause the video now and practice this a few more times. Rewind if you need to hear the pronunciation again. Now let's watch the video clip again. This time, pay close attention to the words Australien and Australienne. Notice that when Jacques asks David if he's Australian, he uses the word Australien. But when Michel describes herself, she uses the word Australienne, which is slightly different. But why are they different? Let's use the word Américain to find out. In English, regardless of whether I'm a man or a woman, I can say, I am American. In French, it's different. A man would say, Je suis américain, and a woman would say, Je suis américaine. There's a masculine version and a feminine version. Let's practice this a bit. Watch the following video and listen to each pair of adjectives. Pause the video after each pair and see if you can repeat both the masculine and the feminine versions.
Parisien, parisienne. Ancien, ancienne. Italien, italienne. Éthiopien, éthiopienne. Aérien, aérienne. Daltonien, daltonienne. Éolien, éolienne. Ivoirien, ivoirienne.
Now let's talk about your nationality. But first, let's understand the pronunciation of the words we've just heard. In French, there are two kinds of vowels, nasal and vocal. This just means that sometimes we feel a vibration in the nose as we speak, and sometimes we feel it in the throat. For example, say the word can't in English. Go ahead and say it. When you say can't, you make a nasal sound, and you should feel a vibration in your nose. Now try saying the name Ken. Go ahead. When you say Ken, you're producing a vocal vowel, and you should feel a vibration in your throat. Now try going back and forth between the two, and you'll see the difference. Now you try it. This is the same thing that happens when you say the masculine and feminine versions of I am American in French. The masculine version ends in a nasal vowel, je suis américain. The combination un makes a nasal sound in the nose. The feminine version ends in a vocal vowel, je suis américaine. N makes a vocal sound in the throat. Now let's talk more about nationalities. If you're American, you already know how to do this, just make sure you use the masculine form if you're a man and the feminine form if you're a woman. If you're looking for another nationality, just click on the nationalities link below this video and then click on the speaker icon to listen to the vocabulary. And if you don't find your nationality listed there, click on the word reference link below this video where you can search for the word you want in an online dictionary. So, now let's talk nationalities. I'll tell you my nationality and you tell me yours. Here goes. Je suis américain. Et toi? Now let's watch the clip again and pay careful attention to the words tu and toi.
Bonjour.
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 Je m'appelle Jacques. Et toi?
Moi, je m'appelle Michel.
Tu es française?
Non, je suis australienne.
Ah bon? L'Australie? C'est formidable! Et toi, tu t'appelles comment?
Je m'appelle David.
Tu es australien, toi aussi?
Mais non, je suis néo-zélandais.
Oh, pardon.
Je suis ici en vacances.
Moi aussi.
Bienvenue chez nous!
In this conversation, what do the words tu and toi mean? That's right, they mean you. But this is only one way of saying you in French. There's another way, which is to use vous instead of tu. In fact, the difference between tu and vous is so important that there are even two special verbs, tutoyer and vouvoyer, which mean to call someone tu and to call someone vous. But what's the difference and why does it matter? For the answer to this question, I'm going to call on the help of French President Nicolas Sarkozy. In this video, Sarkozy is lecturing a group of French policemen about the way they address criminals in the street. Notice when he tells them, pas de tutoiement, or don't use tu when addressing suspects.
Mais pensez ça, chaque minute, vous portez un uniforme. Vous êtes les représentants de l'État. Vous devez avoir une éthique. Vous devez être exemplaire. Et c'est très important. Pas de fenêtre ouverte dans les voitures de patrouille avec le bras qui pend. Pas de tutoiement. Du respect. Respectez les autres et vous serez respectés. Je sais bien qu'on vous insulte. Mais on ne combat pas les voyous avec les méthodes de voyous.
In the next clip, you'll see Sarkozy violating his own rule. When he's harassed by a man in a crowd, Sarkozy tells him, casse-toi, or get out of here, using toi, exactly what he told the policeman not to do. So, now we know what President Sarkozy says about tu and vous, even if he doesn't always follow his own rule. But now let's look back at these three situations we've seen so far and try to come up with some rules for when to say tu and when to use vous. Generally, vous is used when speaking to older people and people to whom we want to show particular respect. Tu can be used among friends, family members, and young people of roughly the same age. This is why the young people in the first clip in Australia used tu and toi, and it's also why Sarkozy insisted that French policemen be more formal when dealing with criminals. But both forms can be respectful, it just depends on the context. The young people in Australia weren't disrespecting each other, they were just treating one another as equals. And according to Sarkozy, French policemen should set a higher standard than people they deal with on the street and be more respectful, even if they aren't being respected themselves. Since we'll get to know each other fairly well in this class, we'll use tu. But when you're ever in doubt, you should use vous to avoid making a gaffe or a faux pas, both of which come from French, by the way, and mean to make a mistake. So when you're ready, move on to the next video segment below in which we'll go over the syllabus. À bientôt! See you soon!